I've come to learn that there are three types of people in this world: dreamers, developers, and doers. Although I found out I have a little bit of each one of these in my makeup, I'm definitely a dreamer. I spend a lot of time dreaming about things that could happen and things that could change the world. Some of them have transpired, some of them have tanked, a few, and some of them have looked very different than the original dream that I had. But that's what I spend most of the time doing. I don't believe that there are any failures. I've come to believe that creativity comes out of chaos. And I've also borrowed a belief that gratitude always trumps fear. So I pride myself on being a person that is not stopped by barriers. And I have today two questions that I want to share with you. That first question is, what if? And I don't mean what if in the schleprock kind of impending doom, what's going to happen to me way. I mean, what if nothing was in my way and I could do whatever I want? I'm kind of a rebel that way, and I really don't like barriers. There's a dilemma that happens when you speak later in the agenda, because you get to hear all of these great people and their ideas and their inspirations, and you start chopping up your speech and wanting to add things. But there's one today that I think is worth plugging in here, and that was the two gentlemen earlier today, Lance Kagi and Tom Llewellyn from Beautiful Angle. Because if I went back 5 years, they would be a perfect what if. And that would be, what if somebody that has such a great impact on the community with an inspiration and their artwork and their message was considered to be a nuisance and a violation of code and even destruction of property? And what if 3 years later they were given an award, a community award, by the same organization that considered them a nuisance at one time? So that's the kind of what if that I'm talking about today. Thank you, Tom and Lance, for being those people that don't ask permission. So here are some of the what ifs that have been bouncing around in my head lately. And that is, what if we could design our communities in a way that were healthy, connected, and supportive of the people living in those communities? What if 7,000 local independent businesses in the city of Tacoma alone could be looked at as a collective voice and change the fabric of our economic values in Tacoma? What if students could learn math and science in a creative way, like mixing hair color in a bowl at a hair salon? At our salon, we mix and measure everything to the T, taking the hydrogen peroxide and the ammonia, specifically adding it in a bowl to the perfect weight to make sure in that timed portion that it's doing exactly what it needs to the molecular structure of the hair, leaving it at the perfect pH. We had students in our salon a few years ago with a cooperation with the library to teach kids math and science in a different way. And I think we need to do more of that. What if a School of the Arts high school class could act as the virtual concierge to Tacoma? The front door, when you come into Tacoma, you walk in and there's a creative, young, inspired, energetic high school student who's giving you the inside scoop on where to eat. They can book your theater tickets. They tell you where the best scratch cocktail is at 10:22, and even where you can see a drag show at 10 o'clock at night. Then that you can have your waffles and chicken at DOA on 6th Ave. How to transport yourself from each of those things and leave you with an experience of Tacoma that makes you want to come back again. What if? What if we could have choice for our kids in school to have healthy, real food versus the mass-produced, packaged, corn-filled crap that has been shoved on us since the perfect invention in the 60s of the TV dinner? What if? What if a local producer could have their products labeled in a way that explains to consumers how their product was produced in every function of their organization and what carbon footprint it put out, where it was sourced from, and how far it took to get here and how that was made? What if we could do that? Somebody likes that. Thank you for the one clap in the audience. What if we had a network very much like Facebook that allowed us to share with our neighbors real time if anything fishy is going on the block? or if we needed to borrow a tool, or if we needed a ride to the doctor, or if our kids were playing together and something was happening, if there was something that we needed to know. What if we had a site like that that was real time, that we could connect with our neighbors again in an instant? What if we could access unique, locally produced gems like Libertine salts, fingerprint confections, handmade caramels, locally organically grown produce in a space that you could experience local music, and everything changed on a monthly basis. And everything that we purchased gave us equity in a system that honored us for supporting our local economy, that we could turn around and spend in another locally independent business. What if we could do that? And what if we could swap our produce? What if we could bring stuff from our gardens that we had too much of and meet on a Wednesday night with other people, and we could exchange it for some other things that we had that they had too much of? What if there was a system for restaurants to be able to create a wish list to the local farmers and say, these are the things that I want to create on my menu. Can you grow this? And what if we had a system that on the other side of that, there was an excess of something with the farmers, and then we could have the restaurants create specials around that and or teach people how to cook those things using our locally produced food? What if we had a potluck week where we got back together and shared our struggles and our triumphs and our stories with each other and got to know our neighbors again? What if we adopted the concept that life is not a pass or fail exercise? My second question is why not? Why not? Let's start asking ourselves, who is benefiting from the status quo? Why are we still allowing a select few to control our livelihoods? And what would it take for us to change and these things to be realized? When are we going to step up? And when are we going to realize that relationships are the key, like Romanita said earlier today? When are we going to be the change agents that change our world? Why not?